Hello, Assalamu alaikum everybody. Hope you're all safe, sound, and healthy. And I'm back because there have been a few mentionable developments that people need to know. First of all, as we know, the 13 party coalition that has got together to form this illegal government but has not even been able to take care of the most basic of social or economic issues in the country. In fact, they created social and economic crisis in the country. They are now obviously fighting amongst themselves. And as always, the People's Party and the Nawaz League, they're both fighting amongst themselves as usual, um, because Maryam Nawaz has had two very, very flop rallies. The first of which was in Bagh, where literally about 200 to between 200 and 800 something people came, and they also just came to curse at her and to ask her why is it that her government has completely destroyed the livelihoods of the common man. And she could hardly make a 15-minute speech, after which she had to run away. And then after addressing that empty lot, she had a big fight with the current prime minister, who was also an illegal prime minister. She had a fight with her uncle Shubhas Sharif, in which they basically laid down blame games with each other. So Maryam Nawaz keeps on insisting that this is not her government, and everybody keeps on asking her that your uncle is in power right now. Your people are the ones who are in power right now. They're the ones going around entering people's homes, kidnapping women, kidnapping children, kidnapping old people from their homes, torturing people, just so that they could force them to leave Imran Khan's party, which is the biggest party in Pakistan, and then kidnapping journalists and torturing them and killing some of the government officials who are against them, killing some of the journalists who have refused to back down. So this ongoing, and then Maryam Nawaz, again, because according to her it's not her government, then in what capacity or in what status is she giving the orders for all of this to be done, and in what capacity is is she using the authority of the authority to give commands to the establishment or the army or the intelligence agencies, and to use them to wreak havoc in the country. And then again, in what capacity has she been meeting the American senators when she wasn't even in the government, when Imran Khan was in the government? And then in what capacity right now is she using all the protocols? She's not even a minister, she's nothing, she has no status, but she is using all the protocols of the government that could be given to an incumbent prime minister or incumbent minister. The fact that she entered the prime minister house after her uncle got elected or selected, again, in what authority, with what capacity did she enter the prime minister house, and did she go through the assets, and in what capacity did she go through the treasury, and in what capacity did her uncle remove all that money just so that he could travel to Saudi and other countries? So these are all the questions that everybody would be asking. Some have already asked. I think some of us have, a few of us have gone into these details. And then another thing, but these are the questions that I've been asking for the past 3.5 years, to be honest. And the so-called veteran journalists, uh, they are silent, they are censored, and they are being paid to give fabricated news and scripted news. As always, as we know, the mainstream media has always been anti-state, and it has always been bought through US dollars. uh, and it has never ever really worked for the people of Pakistan or to give real news to the people of Pakistan. And so even right now, just for the sake of money, the owners of these mainstream media channels, they are now forced to remain helpless as their employees are either kidnapped or tortured or killed, and they still have to go on TV and be happy clams and talk about how wonderful this government is and how there is no censorship, and how every single thing that Imran Khan did in the past 3 years has now been credited to the government, from the billion tree tsunami project, which the whole world on the record has claimed that this is one of the unprecedented um, projects that the world would gladly follow, and that includes England amongst other countries. And now, similarly, there was this Russian oil fraud that our current prime minister has just committed, where he says that I fulfilled my promise. First of all, you were not in Russia making deals. It was Imran Khan who was in Russia, and he was the one he was making a few deals with the Russian government. And that is why America's mother died, basically, and America sent you people here to destroy the country and to oust Imran Khan, because your biggest problem was, why are we doing trade with our neighbors? So there's that. So basically, what Shabazz Sharif has done is what he always does: is he's riding on the coattails of the previous government, but he is making things worse. For example, he could not seal any deal with the Russian government. There have been no agreements. There have been no contracts. There's been nothing. Zilch, nada. And all he did was get one cargo of oil, one cargo, and that will not do anything for the price of oil. If anything, the levy upon oil will just increase in the next few months, as is being predicted by a few other sane journalists in the field, and economists. So all he's done is created another crisis, another disaster for us. It's basically another orange train in the making. The Orange Train project, which was a huge loss, and to scrap that project became an even bigger loss, which is why Imran Khan's government had no choice but to just reinforce the construction and start the project. But the project from A to Z was completely wrong and should have been scrapped. But the fact that they had spent so much money, or should we say that the fact that they had eaten up so much money in the form of kickbacks to make that Orange Train project, which really doesn't even make any sense. Um, so that is something we're still paying for. Similarly, the bus schemes that Shabazz Sharif started, we're still paying for it. And now he has started another problem for us. That is what they all do. Shabazz Sharif, every single time he comes, the only thing that he does is he breaks up perfectly good roads and he reconstructs them, and then he takes all that money. Then he goes and he makes these ridiculous projects which have no heads or tail, no sense, no rhythm or rhyme, and then again we have to pay for it heavily for decades to come. So he's created another problem now for us with this so called Russian oil. We're not importing Russian oil, we've just got one single cargo, and this too is going to cost us pretty pennies. Now, on the other side, the establishment, as we know, the establishment has realized that it has begun something it should never have, and that it has nowhere else now to fall on or to fall back to. And so they are desperately trying to have a talk with Imran Khan. And they think that they still have the upper. I mean, this is how stupid and how pathetic they are, that they actually still think that they have the upper hand. And so they're literally begging Imran Khan to save their face by issuing an apology for 9th May. Imran Khan has refused to do that, and why should he? The whole world knows that this was a scheme engineered by the army, the establishment, again on the orders of the US minions this Nawaz Sharif's and Zardari's groups. And again, why? So that they could go against the Supreme Court's order for elections. 14th May was when the Supreme Court had ordered the elections to be held, and just so that they could avoid the elections, they staged this whole charade, costing us again a lot of tax money and a lot of headache and a lot of crisis. And now it is going to cost them. Now it is costing them very heavily. Shabazz Sharif is now in trouble. He's trying to have secret meetings still. I wonder if he's still hiding in the dicky of the car while he's trying to meet the chief of army staff, because this is how he has been meeting him before, during Imran Khan's tenure, and after even ousting him. I mean, the ridiculous part is even after ousting Imran Khan, Shabazz Sharif has been hiding in the dicky of his car in order to visit the chief of army staff so that he can secure his position as prime minister. But the Supreme Court has already declared Shabazz Sharif as incompetent and disqualified, and has made has declared that the elections must be held at all cost, because the government is no longer legal. The status of the government is that it is no longer standing. And just to defy that, they have gone through all these lengths. And at the same time, we have another problem afoot, because Maryam Nawaz is still trying to queen herself. Um, and again, she was supposed to have some sort of a crowning ceremony for crying out loud. Seriously, I mean, how far out insane are you people that you have gone completely rabid with that you're actually beginning to now crown your Zardari has called himself the king, and Maryam is trying to crown herself into what? Really, what are you supposed to be here? Are you supposed to be the princess, or are you supposed to be the queen now? What are you supposed to be? So Imran Riaz Khan, the journalist, is still not being brought back. There are fears amongst the journalists who are speaking out, which, as we know, the veteran journalists of Pakistan, the self proclaimed critical analysts and the self proclaimed senior analysts. They are mum about it. They have completely shut up. They are completely uh, they've become yes men to Maryam Nawaz, and to celebrate that, just to celebrate how gladly they have allowed themselves to be censored. Maryam Aurangzeb does a press conference yesterday at the club, in which she tells them that she is going to give health insurance to the journalists. And the journalists, had to kindly remind her that actually, you know what, Imran Khan gave health insurance to every single person in Pakistan. It was worth 10 lakhs. And the journalists were included in that, and that her government came and completely cancelled it out. And not only that, her government came and also shut down the shelters that Imran Khan had made for the homeless and for the day-to-day labor, um, day-to-day laborers, and for anybody and everybody who would need food and shelter. Uh, so they shut those down. They shut the shelters down, and they shut the council houses down. He was also making council houses, some more of them, and they shut that down. And then as we know, they completely shut down the healthcare scheme. And Mariam Aurangzeb was trying to take credit for that by saying, no, it was us. And the journalists were like, no, actually, it wasn't you, it was him. But what are you trying to do by just exclusively giving us health insurance? We don't know. And Mariam was like, oh, you see, we believe in the freedom of the press, and you sitting here are witnesses to the fact that we have never kidnapped or tortured or killed any journalist. You are free to say whatever you want to say. We have never censored the media. And the journalists were like, oh my god, woman, seriously. The real journalists, that is, the real journalists, they were like, they just went to the social media and they just vented it all out. that I mean, the gall of the woman to say to our faces that we have never done anything to you people, and that we have not censored you, and we have not sealed your mouths, and we have not threatened you, and we have not killed you, and we have not kidnapped you. So, but this is what happens when people pay you. They expect you to sell yourselves out completely. That is how the deal is made. So when your channels take money from these people, then they are obliged to sell out completely. They become bitches of those riches. It's as simple as that. Just like how the PDM coalition party, they're basically coalition government. They're basically bitches of the American establishment. So it is as simple as that. So this is what we have at the moment. Karachi's elections have been hijacked. As I said, there is this fight going on because Maryam Nawaz bitterly and miserably flopped in Bagh, Kashmir. And so Kashmir has always basically one way or the other given its votes to PPP until PTI was formed. When Imran Khan's party was formed, then Kashmir, like most of the other provinces of Pakistan, although Kashmir is not a province of Pakistan, let me remind you, Kashmir is an independent territory, but like most of the other parts of Pakistan, Kashmir opted for Imran Khan's government. But now, because of all this that's going on, because of the people that are being kidnapped and tortured, not allowed to take part in the elections, the Kashmiri peoples decided it was still better to opt for People's Party once again. Kashmir has never opted for Nawaz's party ever, which is why I don't even understand what made Mariam think that they would opt for her. So after that miserable failure, um, Noon League, that is, Nawaz Sharif's party, they started creating this narrative in which they were saying that People's Party has already started hijacking the elections before they could even take place. That People's Party has already started the rigging. And obviously, both these parties have always rigged the elections. There has never been a single time when any of them have ever come the right way. Okay, they've always rigged the elections. They've always stolen votes. They've always, just gone through, taken, the wrong way basically to win the elections. They have never legitimately. They have never won elections, and so they have started this whole, this screaming competition with the People's Party people, claiming that People's Party is already hijacking the elections. So, People's Party won in Bagh, and then now in Karachi, the mayoral elections, which is when the mayor. The problem here is that, as we know, Jamaat-e-Islami was coming in full force in Karachi, and as we know, the illegal government targeted the head of Jamaat-e-Islami when he was protesting against them, and but he did not back down, and he decided to take part in the elections in Karachi and secure votes on behalf of Imran Khan. Okay, as we all know, you would only get votes if you uh, join hands with Imran Khan. Otherwise, you would really not stand a chance. And so, knowing that they had once again joined hands with Imran Khan as he's, you know, as uh, as a coalition, you can say, and they decided to uh, run the elections in Karachi. But the 30 members of PTI were kidnapped, very so conveniently, and not just were they kidnapped, but they were kidnapped and hidden. So nobody could actually contact them, not even their own families. And after doing that, then they tried to um, claim that the Jamaat Islami does not have the legitimacy in the elections. So, trying to create a problem there as well, it is said that People's Party, which is Zardari's party, has already hijacked the Karachi elections as well. And so basically, it doesn't matter who the people vote for, as Zardari had already announced on TV. It doesn't matter who the people vote for. but Zardari's party is going to come into power, and Zardari is going to make his son prime minister. So that's the whole, agenda here. So let's see, because the elections are actually going to take place on the 15th of this month, and let's see who becomes mayor. I think it will be very clear once we see who becomes mayor what exactly has happened. So these are the major developments here. On the other side, we are now waiting for Rana Sanala is actually being scapegoated, from what we understand, thanks to Harim Shah throwing out those videos against him and other members of the PDM party. Now the PDM is in shambles and they're scrambling and they're trying to put everything on Rana Sanala, and so he's right now their current scapegoat. So they've already created a narrative against their own man, and so that if there is a fall to come, he will take the fall. So this is it for now, and let's see what more we can get, because obviously things are very interesting. The international media is screaming its butt off with regards to what's going on in Pakistan. But once again, as I said, it is amazing how the governments, the American government, the Canadian government, and the British government, it's amazing how they are silent. And that in fact shows that the American government and the British government were part of this whole plan. They were part of the conspiracy to attack the sovereignty of Pakistan. So why would they say anything? If this was Imran Khan's government by now, even if nothing would have happened, but they would have already created an excuse to withdraw their attaches, to have withdrawn and closed down their embassies, to have closed down all visa processes. But look at it. We are literally being violated. Our people are being violated. The Punjab police, under orders of Mariam Nawaz, has been going into people's homes, raiding their homes, stealing every single thing they can find from those people's homes, kidnapping women, kidnapping men, torturing people, and suddenly America is quiet. All those women empowerment agencies are quiet. Um, British government is quiet. So that is what I call highly suspicious. This is me signing out. Khuda